I really did miss this.
Yeah.
I missed the song. We didn't get to hear it last week.
I was humming it to myself.
You're humming it to yourself just to stay fresh,
Yeah.
keep it fresh. Hey, everybody, welcome. I'm so sorry about last week. We had a little bit of a health scare, but everyone's fine now, so no need to worry. We're back. Glad to be back.
Healthier than ever.
Healthy, wealthy, and wise. Well, everyone, I am Steve McLean, co-founder of The Little Red Dog, with another episode of For the Love of Dog. I'm here with Gary Newcomb. Gary is one of our dog trainers, our head dog trainer. I think you only have to answer to PJ.
Wow.
I think that's how high up the ladder you are, my friend.
I try not to flex. I answer to everyone. I'm the low man on the totem pole.
No, you're not the low man. Oh, hey, babe, by the way, did you see our new little addition to the studio?
I did.
How cool is that?
Place is hopping up.
Yeah. How cool is that piece of art?
I missed the McKinsey photos.
Well, that's why we had to cover it up. Mackenzie got tired of seeing her baby photo in there.
Did she make this happen?
No, it wasn't
I commissioned
Mackenzie.
a piece.
It wasn't Mackenzie. It was actually from Miss Lauren. She's one of our great volunteers, and she's also a graphic artist.
Talented one.
And how cool is that? It looks like it was made many years ago.
It looks like a legit movie poster.
It does. And you know what? It's kind of a subtle thing, but you know immediately that shadow is a dog.
Yes.
I don't know why. It's so cool. And I love that it says on a mission from dog.
Yeah.
You have to look at it closely to get that, but
It even has our names down here in
does.
the credits.
It does. Anyway, we got a great show for you. Thanks for tuning in. Probably in the top 10 reasons we get dogs back. And the question basically is parents are having their first child, right? And they are either worried about how to integrate their dog with the baby, or sometimes the family doesn't do anything at all. And then the baby arrives and they perceive the dog is flipping out over the new baby.
Yeah.
So the question is, there's actually two questions. The first question that we received was how to plan for a baby, so that obviously the couple's pregnant. They want to be proactive, figure out what can they do to ensure a successful transition for the dog, right?
And there's definite steps to that.
There's a lot of steps. And then the second part of that is, oops, I forgot that maybe I should be proactive, and now they haven't done anything. Now the baby's here, and the parents are flipping out.
Yeah.
So let's tackle the first part of that question. In other words, the parents...
Pre-baby.
Yeah, and by the way, just to be fair, I'm never proactive. I never think about these type of plans. I'm always one of these people that make decisions while I'm in the fire, in the middle of the fire. I
try, but the best laid plans.
Yeah. Well,
you got a kid coming, you cannot prepare for every contention that you're going to be put through.
No, so I'm trying to be fair to the parents out there that, oh my God, I have a baby and my perception is it's not going well. What should I do? So, but anyway, let's start with the people that aren't like you and I, more intelligent, and they're trying to be proactive and figure out, hey, what can I do to make sure this is a success?
Yeah, well, it's like anything. What you want to do is socialize your dog to anything that they're going to be around regularly so that you can show them how you want them to respond.
Right.
How the core rule of dog training, put the dog in the situation, tell them how you want them to act, and then let them go. So a lot of, there's a ton of transitions that people use. They start playing recordings of baby sounds. You can socialize the dog to other small children and then taper down to babies. Start with a toddler age kid, maybe even older. That's not going to, if your dog has never been exposed to children,
right.
Start with an older kid so that they get used to it. Kids are kind of wild, and then taper down to, this is what a baby smells like.
Right.
And, obviously do it safely. If you have a dog who's already prone to reacting towards strangers or something, then you want to do it carefully.
Right.
But there's ways of doing it carefully. And that's pretty much up to you, and it starts with the preparation.
Right. Well, the things that I like to tell people, if they are planning ahead, start putting the dog in the baby room. Here's the new clothes. Here's
baby wipes
toes.
Smell like. And,
right.
Yeah.
I think, and you kind of touched on it, I think one of the more important things that you can do, there's probably a recording somewhere of baby noises, right? And dogs normally react, just like humans, poorly to the cries, the whining of a baby, right?
Or a puppy, yeah.
Yeah, and so super important that the dog starts to hear these sounds.
Yep.
Super important. And
oh yeah, there's a ton of recordings on YouTube as well, just for this.
Just for this?
Yeah.
Okay, very cool. Is there one in particular that you can recommend that you've run across?
I don't.
Just
I
Google
usually
it.
just Google, search it when I go, and I'm like, oh, this will work.
Now,
But they do it for everything. I've used them for fire trucks, siren sounds, door knocks, doorbells. They have every sound recorded on there. They even have compilations of sounds that irritate dogs.
okay. Yeah, well, that's super important. And I think people don't understand that because, again, humans can mask their emotions, right?
Yep.
Dogs can't. So I don't know why people continue to flip out when their dog flips out on a noise or a new experience. Not willing to stop and take a beat and think, okay, I masked my feeling towards that noise.
Yes.
But you forget that you do it.
Yep.
Right?
Or you've gained a recognition of the noise that now I know that when a siren goes down the street, I don't have to panic. I have neighbors.
Check your family.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Right.
So they don't get that benefit though. So every time is the first time, and it's always going to panic them.
Right. And so I'm always shocked that people forget that. They always think that their dog should be more human.
Yes,
I guess.
see
right?
things from our perspective.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's talk about the second part of it. Let's talk about probably the more mainstream family.
Like an actual introduction period.
Well, yes, but not that. But in other words, they didn't do the due diligence. And again, I make this mistake all the time, so I'm not putting these people down. They didn't plan ahead. They just assumed it would go great. Now the baby's home. The dog is flipping out. Their perception is that the dog is vicious towards this baby. So now kind of walk us through when you're training a family in this situation, what you do.
So the first steps, you'll be able to read the dog as to what level they're going to come in at when you bring the baby home. Your average dog is going to have a reaction to it. They're going to whine. They're going to want to try to get close. They're going to want to smell them. They're going to want to do that stuff. And,
sure.
A parent's natural reaction, especially on the first kid, is to build a fortress around your baby and not let anything get to it.
Yeah, by the third child, you don't give a crap.
Yeah,
just whatever you want to do.
You bring it in. The dog can carry it in. The dog can carry it in for you.
Yeah, it's the first child.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, so in that, you need to start your socialization at that point. And it's like, if I was going to introduce a dog to another dog, I'm going to put it on a leash. I'm going to let it smell it.
Right.
And I will even take a baby, pick it up, turn it around, let the dog smell its butt. Yeah. That's what the dog wants to smell. It thinks it's going to download the information from there. The baby's not making eye contact with the dog, so no dog is going to feel challenged by that.
Well, it's funny you say that because at the last house, I was at a drink session last week, and part of the reason why we're talking about it is this was my experience. Was the baby was 4 days old. Parents were freaked out, and I, like you, what you just said, I stupidly asked, do you mind if I hold the baby? Because I wanted to do what you were just talking about, right? And the parents were being too nervous, right? And so, we're all wearing masks because of COVID. And I literally could see the mom's eyes. I knew immediately when I asked this question, can I hold your baby? It was basically, over my dead body.
Yes.
You're gonna be able, you stupid old man, It's funny because when I saw her eyes, I'm like, okay, that's okay. I don't need to do that. We can do this another way. About 5 minutes passed by, and she goes, okay, you can hold the baby.
You passed the test. Yeah,
anyway, I'm sorry I kind of interrupted you. So, anyway, you were talking about the dog smelling the baby.
So, let the dog introduce themselves to the baby in the way that a dog would introduce, have the dog on a leash. Under all circumstances, you want to do safety first.
Sure.
So, have the dog on a leash. It's like I'm introducing a dog to a cat. Some dogs will have a reaction to that, and some dogs will get the smell and move on. That they lost that, like the mailman. The mailman is a tempting bait to them that they can never get to. And that's why dogs don't like mailmen, is because they hear them every day, pull up, slam the mail, beat the horn, all that stuff. They can't get at them.
Right.
So when you create that dynamic, it creates a tension.
Right.
So absolutely, the dog has to meet the baby.
Right.
And if not, you're going to run into a problem that the dog always wants to meet a baby.
Yeah. And I think, and for parents out there or anyone listening to this in the future, it's super important. Let's say you don't have the funds to hire a trainer and you're going to do this on your own. You probably shouldn't do it on your own, maybe, if you're that nervous.
Yeah.
But one thing that I want all parents, new parents, to understand, it's just like anything else in life. Step one is you have to stay calm. And if you need to keep the dog on a leash for your confidence level, for sure do that. Like you, I also keep the dog on the leash anyway.
Yeah.
But whatever you need to do to ensure that the dog smells and licks the child, whatever you need to make that happen so that you feel confident it's going to go well, then do that.
Yeah.
Even if you have to put the dog in a muzzle
You
for
have
a
to know
little
that
bit.
exactly. You have to know that is the ultimate goal to the dog, to get up to it and smell it.
It has to.
So, you have to facilitate that. And like any introduction we do, you're not waiting till the dog is clamped onto the baby. You're looking at the dog's energy way before that. Is the dog coming in too hot? Is the dog's ears pushed forward? Does the dog seem like there's any tension there? If there is, break the dog off, and go run the dog a little bit, come back and try it again.
Yeah, and that's the hardest part. Well, let me back up. I'm super sympathetic to parents. I mean, you and I are both dads. Whenever I come in for this type of situation, I take it super serious. It's not a light discussion. I do humor to kind of, make them relax a little bit. But my point is, I get it. Your first child, when they come into this world, it's kind of a weird feeling, because even though you didn't have the child the day before, now when they're here, you can't imagine your life without them. Yeah. So you're going. It's obviously an instinct, right? As human beings,
you've fed yourself for the last 9 months. I've got the most important job that I'm going to ever have.
Right. No, I get it. So, I always applaud parents who pre-plan. Absolutely, I love that. But I can't emphasize enough, and Gary said it, that it has to happen, and B, how important it is that the family stays relaxed. Yeah. And you have to almost imagine in your brain it's going to go well. You have to do that. You have to do that.
That's what I tell people all the time, their emotions, you have a dog that's dog reactive and you're walking it, you see them, they'll clamp down on the leash, they'll start pulling it tight, they start feeding a reaction to the dog.
And they're just making it worse.
Yes, so I tell people, you have to imagine that it's not going to go wrong, but prepare for it to go wrong.
Right. No,
grab the leash tighter, but don't pull it.
Right.
So don't feed your dog a reaction that, this is something that's going to happen and you're pulling on the dog and you're overly cautious, because you're going to build tension in that dog and you're going to feed something to happen.
And I like the fact too that you said, of course the dog is going to be excited. Of course the dog is going to be different, intense and nervous. And the only thing I get frustrated about new parents is I ask them, are you perfectly calm? Let's say the dog's not here. As a new dad and new mom, are you perfectly confident? Do you think that you're going to be the best parent? No, everyone's freaking out when they're a new parent.
Absolutely,
absolutely freaking out. So if you are freaking out, why is it not fair for your dog to freak out? Yeah, So and soon as they kind of think about that for a second, and they do realize that they are freaking out, they start to understand, for at least a little bit, what the dog might be going through, and what the dog's reaction is very normal.
Yeah, and that's a lot of what we do, is taking people and putting things back into the dog's perspective, because people have now seen things from a human perspective, and this is an issue that we can't tolerate. Right. Once you flip it back to a dog's perspective and you show them why it's happening, it's simplifying it for them.
Right. And again, it all goes back to, as human beings, when we're in charge, we are able to mask our fear. Mm-hmm. Some of us can't. Yeah. So of course the dog can. But once the humans start to understand that the dog is going through the same thing that you're going through, the only difference is a dog cannot mask this emotion. So it looks to you for masking that emotion, right? So I think it's very helpful for parents to understand that if you're freaking out, of course your dog's freaking out. Yep. So you can't. So this is back to step one: get relaxed, and then go through Gary's steps of making sure the dog smells and gets to lick and taste the baby.
And really, when you were the parent for the first time, I remember, starting at baby classes, and all that stuff before we ever even had the kid. Right. You're trying to prepare for everything, and you can't. So a problem that you're going to run into is that you have this vision that you're having a glass baby.
Yes.
And for me, what it was when we saw in labor and delivery the nurses changing diapers.
Yeah, it's brutal.
Yeah, we were like, I'm going to hold up the bottom end and you slide the diaper in. No, the nurse would come in like one leg straight up, diaper out, diaper in. And so I think that you start to desensitize to what your kid is going to do and all of that as time goes on. So it's important for you and your comfort level that you may have to play with that a little. Wait, maybe day one isn't the time, but bring your dog into proximity. Don't let your dog meet them. So you have to start getting yourself comfortable into that place. For me, you to sit here today and say, you can snap your fingers and be relaxed. That's not realistic for some people. But,
no.
Build your comfort level up to that you can make it happen and make it happen in a calm way.
Yeah, and again, for everyone that's listening, including my mom. And that's why it boils down to even being a little bit more proactive and practicing these things before the baby gets there. Because on day one, you're going to have more important things to be doing than working with your dog, right, Gary?
Yeah.
All right. That's probably a great place to break. When we come back, we will be talking to Miss Lauren, who's going to interview me. I hope I do well.
Good luck.
I know. I'm freaking out.
She's going to hit you with the algebra questions.
Thanks. We'll be right back. Hey, everyone. Thank you for tuning in for the Love of Dog. Totally good news. New Road is back with their food. However, it's only treats. That's okay. We love the treats. You saw Gary try them months ago. Either way, doesn't matter. They're great. They're terrific. Treats only. The promo code is REDDOG15, all caps. Type that in when you're ordering. You get a discount, plus we get a little bit of a donation. We love it. Please check it out. New Road. Thanks, everybody. Hey, welcome back, everybody. I have this very special guest with me today. That was me on drums on the music. Did you like that?
I did.
I know, right? How good am I?
You're very good.
Anyway, I'm here with Miss Lauren. She's going to ask us some questions, and it's my understanding that if I get these questions right, we get $20,000.
Yep.
Is that correct?
It is.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Well, thanks so much for being here. You're so sweet to be here. I mean, I know there's better things you could have done today.
Oh, no, this is really exciting.
It? Oh, I'm so sorry. You need to aim higher. Aim higher, please. My goodness. Anyway, my understanding is this is for a school project. Is that right?
Yes. So I'm in the yearbook elective, and we had to do a human interest story. And I thought, since I have experience working and volunteering on adoption events, and I have 2 dogs,
right?
Like, why not do a story about this?
That's right. And your family actually adopted from us, right?
Yes, Dermot. I don't really know how to explain him.
Nobody does.
he's just a giant marshmallow. I mean,
is.
When you first meet him, he does look scary, but all he wants to do is sit in your lap.
Well, I have to say, we talk about your family a lot in regards to how special you guys are, that you took one of the more difficult dogs. And I don't think, I'm super impressed. I'm impressed with your father, absolutely. But I'm super impressed with your mom because, like you said, Dermot looks pretty menacing, right? Yeah. And she never seemed intimidated. Your whole family has been great about getting Dermot, really in the pocket, getting the dog to walk correctly and act correctly. It's been a great story.
Yeah, he's really sweet. I mean,
he is sweet.
There's really no other words that can describe him.
No, he's a goofball, right?
Once you get to know him more, I mean, after 5 minutes, I just wanted to take him home. Because, I mean, there's nothing more in a dog that you want than, them being sweet, them being loyal to you.
Right.
And, I don't really know how to explain him.
No. Well, I mean, I think one thing for sure, the reason why your family's been so successful is everything that Gary, our dog trainer who was just on a minute ago, you're one of the few families that actually listens to everything that he says and really, takes it serious and really tries to make it successful. Because it wasn't easy. No. Right? I mean, as much as you love this dog, I know it wasn't easy, right?
No, at first it wasn't easy, but eventually he started getting better and better.
Good. Well, I know you didn't come here to talk about Dermot, so I know
I can
you
talk about him all day.
Yeah, well, so could I. He's a sweet boy. So, what questions do you have for me?
Basically, they're just background information on you and PJ and like why you wanted to start the rescue.
Right.
And really just any other information that might help the people who are reading the story understand.
Very cool.
So
hit me.
What made you want to start the Little Red Dog?
Oh, geez. Well, we get that question a lot, and I think what most people don't know is that my wife PJ is really no bones about it. She started the Little Red Dog. It's her passion. It's her vision. At a certain point, we started in 2011. I think late 2011, early 2012. She was kind of having a little bit of a problem. She asked for help. I wasn't really into it, to be honest with you, at the time. But I realized that either I need to do this or start sleeping on the couch. And I don't like sleeping on the couch. I need my beauty sleep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, mm-hmm. Did you hear that? She said, mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What are you saying, Lauren? That's not nice. All right. I get it now.
Have you both been interested in animals since you were younger? You sort of answered that question, but...
Yeah, that's also a good question. I think everyone always assumes that I'm all about animals, and I'm just super passionate about dogs. I'm super passionate about dogs now. I've always liked dogs, but it wasn't until my PJ got me into it that I really fell in love with dogs. It's really, again, it's PJ. She loves all animals. She grew up on a farm. She likes pigs, sheep, cows, the whole thing.
Who doesn't like pigs?
Yeah, they're so sweet, right? So if it wasn't for PJ, I definitely would not be doing this, and I wouldn't have met you guys. So that's kind of cool, right?
What has the experience been like running your own rescue?
In a lot of ways, it's a lot like parenting. I think, being a parent was one of the toughest jobs I've ever had. And this is probably even harder. I know it sounds kind of corny. When you work in a nonprofit, you're trying to help, your community. We're trying to help dogs. If you're really focused on the work, it actually ends up helping you become a better, human being. And for me, as jerky as I am now, I was way worse before the rescue. So I think for me, it's been, even though it's super difficult and heartbreaking, it's made me a better human being for sure.
Mm-hmm. How many dogs have you rescued since starting?
I'd have to check to make sure, but I know for sure we've saved over 2,000 dogs since our inception. And for our size, that's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah. How many dogs have you adopted out?
I mean, you can take, basically we've saved, say, 2,200 dogs, and we have 50 in our program now. So whatever that number is plus 50, because the 50 dogs we haven't adopted yet.
Mm-hmm. What was the process for bringing dogs in and adopting dogs out before COVID?
Before and after, it really hasn't changed. Before COVID, PJ and I, more PJ for sure than myself, there's many sources where we can rescue dogs. In Southern California, unfortunately there's so many shelters that are kill dogs. We try to start there, and we see dogs that are on the youth list and see what dogs we know for sure will get adopted. We can rehab them. What dogs have a good chance for that? The other aspect, too, is we do take dogs that the families are currently having problems with. We'll send, like, say, myself or Gary over to try to talk to the family and work with the family to show them this is a good dog. And if that still doesn't work, then we'll take the dog into our program. But at least 80% of our dogs come from shelters in Southern California. And then to answer your other question, it really hasn't changed that much post-COVID, other than it's even more overwhelming. There's more strife in the economy, therefore people are losing their dogs. They can't keep them. So for sure, that has gone up. And then there's been a lot of shelters that have closed because they can't operate. So that means other dogs are getting transferred. It's just kind of a mess, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's to be expected.
Yes, it unfortunately it is, for sure. Yeah.
How have you been affected by what's going on both personally and with the rescue?
Well, like all families, personally, we've all been kicked in the teeth. Unfortunately, I'm sure just you as a student, that's got to be very stressful, right?
Staring at a screen all day is not.
Yeah, and then having to
preferable.
have your parents teach you, be a part-time teacher, that's hard. In the rescue, it's been a combination of heartache. However, not to overuse the word, the rescues has been able to pivot and have these live streaming events. We had an adoption event a couple weeks ago, and they're all being streamed through YouTube. That's been so much fun, and getting to work with Monty Video, who's helping us today. That's been great, and I wouldn't have met them if it wouldn't have been for this production. So that's been fun.
How has the community approached and helped?
The community back in March and April were terrific because I think we were all like in this together, that kind of attitude. And so everyone was on their best manners, and all of a sudden people were talking and saying thank you and all that. And that stuff kind of ended in like, I'd say June. And now it's just been, it's been brutal. The community's just been just awful, to be honest with you. Everyone's just had it, If you would have asked me that question 2 months ago, and this is great, they're handling it terrifically, everyone's being super kind, animal control has this whole new attitude, and that stuff ended, a couple months ago, or at least a month ago.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, it's to a point where you're just sick of what's going on.
Yeah, I think we're all kind of still, every day is something new, and so your instinct is when something's new, and you're worried, it's just to kind of like shrivel up and just to kind of take care of yourself. And that's been hard, especially an only child. It's been hard for me to kind of fight that instinct and try to keep, being optimistic. It's hard for everyone, for sure.
Final question.
Uh-oh.
How would you describe the rescue in 3 words?
3 words. 3 words. Blood, sweat, and tears, for sure. Tears of joy, though. I mean, the blood and the sweat, it's a lot. It's very. Anytime you save a dog, in that moment, you get upset with the family. Let this dog go, right? So that's the anger. That's the sweat. The blood is kind of putting the work in, and they're rehabbing this dog and really working with the dog and the people like your mom that helps. And then the tears is when you get the dog adopted, That's always a great thing to see a dog that gets, like Dermot, it's a great story where you see a dog that's not perfect but workable, and then you get to meet a cool family like you guys that is a perfect fit for both. Yeah.
Well, I don't really have any more questions.
You have no more questions? Well, do I get to keep the $20,000 then?
Sure.
Nice. That's so cool. So how is school going right now? Are you guys strictly online?
For now, our district has a plan to open up maybe to a hybrid model in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And that is where everyone's online Monday, and then you're either in Group A, which goes to school for a half day Tuesday, Wednesday. And then if you're in Group B, you go to school for a half day Thursday, Friday. And hopefully that works, but I don't really want to get my hopes up, because if we do go back for like a week and then we have to shut down again, it's just going to be even harder.
Well, that was my question, are you kind of looking forward to going to this hybrid type model?
I'm looking forward to it, but I don't really want to get my hopes up too high.
Sure. That sounds kind of funny that you don't want to get your hopes too high that you get to go back to school, right? Because everyone's like, I don't want to go back to school.
Well, I mean, like, I enjoy going to school.
Sure.
School's one of my favorite things besides, like, playing volleyball.
Well, you're still doing sports, though, right?
Yeah, so with volleyball, we shut down for, like, I think, like, a month maybe. And then we came back, and then we shut down again, and then we came back, and so far, so good. We've been having 3 practices a week. So it's not... I don't really know how to explain it, because it's like, it's not where we're going and we're around each other too much. I mean, it still
Right.
separate us.
Right.
But we still are able to go.
Okay, and then what about competition? Have you guys had any games
No.
yet?
So the owner of my club, he pulled us out of all the tournaments because,
Oh.
I mean, like, if we do end up going, the parents are probably not going to be allowed. And so it's only going to be us, like all the teams and the kids that are practicing or
Right.
playing.
Right.
And so it won't be much fun because, like,
Sure.
I know with my parents, they enjoy watching me play.
Sure.
And when we're on the bench and we get to watch them, their eyes just dart back and forth over the net, and it's fun for us to be with
Okay.
our parents.
All right. Well, very cool. Well, Lauren, thank you so much for stopping in. It's very sweet of you to choose us. There's so many great causes out there,
Well, thank
including
you
your
for letting
mom's.
me do this.
Well, thank you. And hopefully we'll see you soon, and hopefully we get to see you play volleyball. All right.
Maybe.
All right, guys. See us next week for the love of dog. My name is Steve McClain. Please subscribe.